So a bit of a change of view today. We're going to have a little look outside of the English watches window. So the desk is here. Normally I'm facing forwards. I've got the camera behind me so you can see my desk. But do you know what? It's a nice, I guess, late spring day. So why not have a little look outside? Just check out the bit of traffic that sometimes runs up and down that you can hear in the background of these videos. Anyway, there's nothing that makes me more happier than a nice sunny day. But also, what we have here is a Belgian bun that wouldn't look out of place in a Guy Ritchie's film on someone's head. It's a sort of flat cap. So I'm going to really enjoy that later with a big cup of tea, because I think I'll need a big cup of tea to chase it all down. Anyway, what we've got today is, well, what I don't want to do is create the English watches, the cheap English watch channel. Now I know we've reviewed some Tissot's recently, and hey, yeah, they're great watches. And yeah, you can spend as much or as little as you want on a watch. There's no hard and fast rules. And what I've got is an 18-year-old son who, through osmosis from my passion for these little things, he started to pick up a little interest himself. I've mentioned before that he's had my father's Omega Aquaterra quartz. He's now acquired the fake Seagull 1963, I think it is, the chronograph. But he's also was looking for a dive watch for his holiday. And he started looking online and went onto Amazon as usual. He found the usual Seiko affairs, around £200. I said to him, do you really want to spend 200 quid on a watch? Have you got 200 quid? I know he works part-time, but 200 quid's a lot of dosh for someone of 18. So I said, why don't you look online? Look on Google cheap dive watches, or watches under 100 quid. There must be some good ones out there. Anyway, we came across something on the Watch Hut again, which is where I bought my PRX. And jokingly, I said, look, there's one there. It's about 100 quid. It was a watch called a depth charge watch. I don't know what depth charge watch is, but it looked okay. Didn't think of anything more of it. And then he came in a few hours later and said, Dad, I've ordered it. What have you ordered? The depth charge. Oh, blimey, okay. He says, oh yeah, I found a voucher. I think there's one on their site now. I'm just looking at it now. It's 125 quid. And there's vouchers on there. Now, this isn't a sponsored ad, by the way. We've genuinely spent our own money on this site. Yes, I've got an affiliate link, but I've earned zero cash through them so far. But anyway, here it is. The depth charge watch. Now, my son being my son, he obviously did a load of research and found out actually this watch is not a dog, as you might expect. So what we're going to do, have a little wander around this heavy piece of metal, the cheap heavy piece of metal, and get stuck in. And I'll get stuck into this. Not through the review though, because that's not good for anyone. Anyway, I'm Andy and welcome to the English Watch. Now, before we get started, don't forget, give this one a thumbs up if you like it, and please subscribe, it really helps the channel. Please also check out any of the links, including links to the Watch Hut, where you can buy this wonderful cheap dive watch, and some hints and tips on how to look after your watches. And please engage in the comments afterwards. This is a really off-the-cuff video. There's not going to be any close-ups or fancy B-roll. We're just going to be pushing the watch into the camera and just having a bit of a laugh around it. Let's crack on. So let's have a quick look at the Watch Hut website. I don't know who makes depth charge watches. I think I've read somewhere or heard somewhere that they're made by Rotary. I don't know if that's true or not. They're certainly not made in any Western territory. I imagine they come from the Far East. Now, this is a watch that's currently retailing on the Watch Hut website. It's listed at 179. It's down at 125. There's various colours. My son went for the blue one, but there's a black and a green. Yes, they're Submariner-esque, but I think they're not as close to the Pagani design or the San Martin homage watches that you can buy from Amazon and AliExpress. And you'd have to say that this one's got very much I'm going to say an Omega feel around it. Certainly it's got the Diver 300 dial aesthetic, so with the twin markers at the top. Certainly in a no-date version anyway, and it's got so I guess stick indices at the 9, 6 and 3. But it's also got the circular intermediate indices as well, and these are all applied indices as well, with superluminova. It's a bit green, but it's pretty bright. Now around the bezel, again, it's generic diver fare. It's got the red triangle at the top. Now the red triangle is, I'd say, painted on. Yeah, it's probably fair to say painted on pretty well. It's not bled over, and the bezel is ceramic, which is great. Now the only thing I'd say is it isn't exactly the right size for the aperture, so there is a little gap on one of the sides, and if you've got a loop, you can just see a bit of glue. I didn't know until my son picked it up and told me. When it's on your arm and you look at it, you can't tell. So the watch is 41mm in diameter, case thickness 13mm. I'm reading this off the website, I've not bothered checking it myself. But having said that, I've got some calipers here, so why wouldn't I? Let's do a quick check on the fly. So let's just validate those dimensions. So 13.3 thickness, diameter 41.2. Yeah, and I guess slug to lug, which is an important measurement for me, and I think 50 under is about spot on. This one's 47.8. So and across the end links 49.9. So bang on the money, really. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take off my Speedy. It's a North Street strap, so you can find them online. I did a video on them a while back. It's just like a nubuck suede type strap, and it's been very durable. I've been wearing it a lot, and it's super comfy. Okay, back to the stats. So what have we got? Water resistance 200 meters. We won't be trying that. It'll get wet on holiday. Case material stainless steel. My son says it's 316 stainless steel, which is great. I mean, it certainly feels substantial and it looks, yeah, like proper steel. It's not plated or anything like that. Automatic movement, not too sure which one, but feels okay when you wind it. And it hacks as well, so this is a hacking movement, which is pretty good. As it says blue, I imagine the dial's just lacquered or painted. Now, sapphire crystal. Now you don't get that on too many watches under 200 quid, let alone 100 quid. And a 2-year warranty, which is pretty good. I mean, it's Protect Fleet, yeah, level warranty this. So I guess the thing that impressed me about this watch most is the bracelet. I mean, what we've got is something that even modern Breitlings would be embarrassed about. You know, you've got a nice solid clasp inside, no pressed affair. You've got, you know, adjustment using the little divots on the side there. It's got twin trigger release and a fold over locking clasp. But it's also got a fold out extension. There you go, old style Submariner, which I think the bracelet alone, yeah, you'd argue was worth the money, let alone having a watch head on the end of it. And given that my son, who does work out in the gym, but he still doesn't have quite as big wrists as me, so it's a little tight. There you go. I've moved the camera down, it just wasn't focusing. That looks pretty cool. Feels it's got a nice weight to it. I mean, it's not too tall on the wrist. And even the Belgian bun's had its first bite. So let's bring you back up. So anyway, so I think if you go on holiday, you want a cheap dive watch, or you want to, you know, gift your kids something, first automatic watch. This is great. Now the only downside of, I call it cheap watches, is things are cheap because things have been missed out. Now in this instance, it's checks and boxes in terms of materials: stainless steel, automatic hacking movement, sapphire crystal, ceramic bezel. So what's missing, I hear you ask? Well, finishing. I don't know if these are made in a sweatshop somewhere in India or China or Vietnam. I've got no idea. But what my son did complain about is that when he wore it for a day, made his wrists go a little bit grey. So I guess they've missed out the washing process from the bracelet manufacturer. And it might be when they polished the centre intermediate links, there's been some residue left on there. Anyway, this one's been IPA'd to death. It's been in the ultrasonic cleaner, so hopefully that little extra process that I've added value to, it's now a super great watch that will give him no end of pleasure. He's tried it on some NATOs as well. I think I've got some rubber straps kicking around, so we've got some options. It's a 20mm lug width, which is pretty handy. So yeah, recommended for a bit of fun, or genuine, you know. I mean, my son thinks the depth charge logo is pretty cool. Yeah, it's funny because there's some logos that you just don't get on with, but depth charge, you know, for a teenager, come on. It's like U-boat, isn't it? But for a lot less cash. And it says DC on the crown. Probably can't see that. There you go. And it's got a signed clasp at the back. What's not to like? Anyway, I'm Andy, this has been the English Watch. Hope you enjoyed this little ramble. Take care and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.